Which of the following is not a factor of the polynomial? To find out which factor is not a factor of the polynomial, we must factor the polynomial. So we write the polynomial down. Then we always check to see if there's a greatest common factor. In this case, there is, the x. We factor out the x and we have 2x squared plus 11x plus 5 remaining. Then we want to think, how are we going to factor this? Well, let's see. We want to think about the factors of 2 and 5. If we had 2, we have 1 and 2. If we have 5, we have 1 and 5. So there's not much to select from. We are working with 1 and 5 and 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and place 2x, x in the first positions of each binomial because the 2x times x would multiply up to 2x squared. And let's go ahead and place the 1 and the 5. Now the good news is we have all pluses. So we know it's going to be a plus. We don't have to focus on any signs. So if we think about this, we can multiply to check 2x times x, and then 2x times 5, and then 1 times x, and 1 times 5. And from your knowledge, you would remember that if you didn't have a coefficient here in front of the x squared, if it was just 1, you just look at the factors of 5, and you want to make sure they times up to the end term, but also add up to the middle term. Well, when you have a coefficient of anything, in this case 2, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But there's a little trick you can actually use to find out if your middle term is going to be what you're looking for and if it will times up to 5 as well. So if we just multiply the two insides, we have 1 times x, and we multiply the two outside terms, we have 10x. You want to put your focus on, if you were to combine these together, could you produce or add up to the middle term of 11x? And if so, what signs would need to take place here to make this happen? Well, obviously, you would need a plus 1 and a plus 10 to make positive 11x. And that is a go. That's what we're looking for. And if you times those n terms, 1 times 5, clearly you're going to have 1 times 5. Now, this method is just used to see if you can calculate and get the middle term, which in this case we can. Because let's say you didn't get 11x. Then you may consider, hey, let me put the 5 over here and the 1 over here. So in terms of kind of, guess and check to see if you have the right items and the numbers where they need to go, a quick way to do that would be multiply the two inside terms, the 1 and the x, multiply the two end terms, 2x and 5, and then just focus on that and say, okay, if I were to combine these together and added them together, whether they be negative or positive, would I produce the middle term? Because we all know that if you did not have the coefficient here, it would times up, your factor base would times up times the end term and also add up to the middle term. And that just saves you a few steps. It's just a quick check. You don't necessarily have to use that quick check. You could factor and then double check by first multiplying by FOIL the 2x plus 1 times x plus 5, getting a result, and then times it back by x. So you could do that as well, but the question is asking which of the following is not a factor of the polynomial. What happened is you factored the polynomial, and here are the factors. X is definitely there, so that doesn't work. X plus 5 is there, that doesn't work. 2x plus 1 is there, that doesn't work. So the only factor listed here in the answer choices that is not a factor of the polynomial we just factored is 2x plus 5. And now you're an expert.